So the lives are still happening, guys, but I really wanted to do the main recap of all the streams that we had before we get the dev servers. Of course, the dev server will probably come, so let's take a look. Here they showed a little bit of the B66, the new bomber. Nothing really to talk about here, and we're gonna just wrap it up, talking about many of these vehicles very rapidly. You can see a very cool cockpit there. And yeah, it's just a normal bomber. Here we have the M55, which is the new artillery that will be coming for many nations. So very interesting. It has a 203mm gun. So crazy. I never really researched anything about it. So yeah, very cool. They showed a little bit of the Charles F. Adams, and you will have the missile, the, what's it called? The RIM 24A. So yeah, and he even has the ASRock in the middle there. So I wonder if they're gonna make it usable in the future. It wasn't in the live stream, but yeah, oh well, right? We had also new internal modifications for the A10. What I mean about that is, of course, internal modules. Also, the T-58, they show it a little bit. It has a pretty good armor. And yeah, very interesting tank. It will have a 3.8 second reload, which is crazy good. They showed a little bit of the Apache, guys, and you can rejoice about this. In the Russian stream, they show this thing. Yes, these AGM179s will be the MR together with IR guidance. So at least 16 kilometers of range together with Fire and Forget IR guidance, TV guidance with thermals. So yeah, guys, the Apache will be pretty amazing. This will be the best Apache in the game. And it will be literally a big step up from the original Hellfires with the AGM179. So a pretty good addition here. They showed the Sufa as well a little bit. So yeah, AIM-9Ms, of course, AIM-120C5s, and a 14.0 BR on this thing, which is pretty interesting. It does have the ability to remove the CFTs, and it is a pretty interesting vehicle flying around, right? It is, it looks very weird, I gotta say, but it is pretty interesting. So I wonder how it will be. It has the moles apparently. And yeah, it's just gonna be one of the most advanced F-16s in the game. In the performance, we're gonna have to test on the dev server, but it is still pretty interesting to see it flying around. And as you can see on the right side there, we have the new radar mechanic with buttons and everything so that you can control the radar in an easier manner, which is great to actually see as well. So very interesting. Another thing that they actually changed is the way that you have the missiles, right, and everything. But yeah, we're gonna talk about it later in the dev server. The Tiger 2 new model was pretty interesting as well, as you can see on the screen. They showed a little bit of the BF-109T2. Nothing else to talk about here, but it is a pretty interesting vehicle. They showed the BMD-4M2. Here it is. Of course, the main thing here is a different reload, apparently. BVD was talking a little bit more about it, but it doesn't matter too much. Then we have the Buk, guys. The Buk M3 is gonna be very interesting. So many things to talk about it here. Of course, the TELAR system, it means that you are going to be able to fire your missiles even if the main radar is destroyed, right? Because, you still have the radar there. And it is active radar homing. Apparently, it does have thrust vectoring, which means that it is actually pretty alright in the short ranges. Not like 1 kilometer, but like 2 onwards. It is actually pretty good. And yeah, amazing range, amazing possibilities with this system. It's just a great system. It really is. One of the best AA systems in the game, for sure. And it's gonna be kind of scary to see this thing driving around. Of course, one thing, multipath will probably make this missile not be the greatest thing ever, but it's still not bad, I gotta say. It looks like it's gonna be pretty amazing. So yeah, the missiles, of course, have 30 Gs and 70 kilometers of range, 1,550 meters per second of speed. And here you see the Mi-35P as well. It is the modernized one, the Phoenix one, if I'm not mistaken, it's called. So Vic ears are present in this helicopter. Also, modernization, thermal systems. It's very similar to the M variant, to be honest, but with Vic ears and stuff. So it's actually going to be one of the best helicopters that they have in these BRs for the Russians. They showed a little bit of the new Hornet as well. Nothing to talk too much about it. We have the, a Canadian premium one, just like we expected. We talked about in the dev blog and stuff. We're going to test these vehicles, of course, when the patch has its dev server. But yeah, nothing else to talk about here. 12.7 in BR with the AIM-7P, of course. And the Australia one, the early one, will be a 12.3 with the, M9L and AIM-7Ms and stuff. No real, like, AGM62, but nothing else there. And then the Hug one has the AIM-120s and stuff. So nothing else to talk about, but yeah. We have the Sky Saber as well, which was very interesting. What we expected. So yeah, the missiles, they come 50G missile 25, and then the ER with 45 kilometers, 1,028 meters per second of a speed. We had the Buk, the Oplot as well. The Oplot, they actually tested in the Russian one, so it was pretty interesting to see that as well. They driving around the tank and stuff. It is a pretty interesting tank. Actually has 32 kilometers of max speed, and actually we need to talk a little bit more about this tank. So they said it's gonna be a 12.0 BR, 32 km per hour reverse speed. They will not add this for the Russians or any other nation because BVVD said this, not me. The Ukrainians didn't have any on service of this model, so we will not see this tank, for the Russians for now at least. 552 millimeters of pan, 0 meters, 0 degrees with the gun, and no Zaslon APS. It will only have the normal, like, Stora-like system that they have there, and it will have a lot of armor. So pretty interesting. The Oplot is actually going to be one of the best Japanese Tech 3 tanks that we have there. So pretty interesting. The Indonesian Mi-35 will be just an export model of the Mi-24P. Same BR, same armament, Sturm missile, same thing. We expected this, but it is good to have a confirmation. We have the F5TH Super Tigris over here. Indeed, it does have the Python 3 and the Derby, but it also has the AIM-9M. So yeah, IRCCM to it. Interesting thing is that apparently 13.3 BR. So very high BR for this F5. I wonder if it's actually going to remain with that. So the King as well, the King 6 is coming. Very interesting. The main thing that I need to talk about here is that they are changing a little bit of the gunner way. So if you are aiming to a place where the gunner cannot aim, it will actually try to go there even if it can and not reset where it's aiming. So the gunner will be better in the future, like after this update, okay? Which is pretty good. They showed a little bit of the VT4, some other tanks. Nothing crazy to talk about here, okay? So let's just continue to show other things. They showed a little bit of the ships as well. Not gonna mention too much. In the dev server, I might, show a little bit more. Nothing crazy to talk about. So yeah, just let's get on with it. The Italian Tornado IDS here is actually getting a MOS with its, under the wing pylon. So which is pretty interesting to see. The Sump T will be exactly what we thought about. The Iveco truck on the Italian one, the Renault truck in the French one. Yeah, and it's 1,500 meters per second missile, 50G, more like 100 kilometers of range. So it is actually going to be pretty amazing. One of the best AA systems in the game. Probably better than the Buk, like I said yesterday, which is interesting to see, like an European nation having this type of basically AA system that is better than even a Russian one, right? Which normally have the best ones, right? Also, we have a new cockpit is coming for the Fokker there. The F-16 OCU is actually coming as, as the event vehicle there, the squadron vehicle there. And it will be be able basically to carry Magic 2s apparently or something like that. So very, very cool. They are adding more mosquitoes for the Norwegians, which is pretty cool. So for the Swedish, right, together with the Norwegians, many new variants, even like a one that has a radar to search ships, which is pretty good. And new vehicles like this will come for the British as well, new mosquitoes, okay? So don't you worry. We also need to talk a little bit about some other things that they were showing on the Russian stream before we put up the video. The Elmur, indeed coming for the Mi-28NM. Crazy good missile. It's gonna have like around 15 kilometers of range, but crazy good. The AGM179 as well. I mean, all of these will be fire and forget, right? They even showed the CM502 as well with the Chinese, which was pretty interesting, right? So this is kind of a close recap. Of course, there are other things to show. Normally I would continue to show, but I really want to put out this video very quickly because they were talking a lot about the inner bits in the Russian stream. but of course I don't speak Russian. I was trying to understand with Jean, von Claude, but I just decided to wait a little bit, and yeah, the dev server is coming. So these are the main things that they show it right there. Other things, of course, but these are the main ones, okay? So I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe. Let me know in the comments what you want to see in the dev server when it comes out. And yeah, guys, I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, like I said, and bye. See ya.